I never thought my morning coffee routine would end up making me public enemy number one in Pine Ridge Estates, but here we are, me, Zach Hansen, just your average guy sitting in a courtroom while a judge decides if I'm a criminal mastermind or just a dude who took the HOA's absurd rules way too literally. It's funny, right? You spend your whole life picturing the American dream as a white picket fence, friendly neighbors, and a lawn that's just green enough to impress the mailman. And then you blink, and you're the main character in a suburban soap opera. Let me take you back. I just turned 32, finally bought my own house after years of paying rent to landlords who probably spent my money on bad vacation tattoos. Maple Drive, Pine Ridge Estates, 20 minutes outside Milwaukee. The place looked perfect, tree-lined streets, lawns trimmed like military haircuts, folks waving from their porches as if we all lived in a Norman Rockwell painting. And for a hot minute, I thought I'd finally landed somewhere I could just exist, work from home in peace, sip my coffee, watch the seasons change. Then winter hit. Early December 1st snow. Just a powder. Nothing crazy. I'm up at 6 like usual out there in my pajama pants and boots shoveling before the caffeine even hit my system. Cold air biting the world dead silent except for the scrape of plastic against concrete. And that's when I hear it. "Excuse me, sir. What do you think you're doing?" I turn around and God help me, there she is, Sharon, the HOA president herself, storming across the street like she's late for an audition as the neighborhood's angry marshmallow. She's holding her phone out like a badge. The bylaws, she says, strictly forbid any snow removal before 9 a.m. The noise disturbs the neighbors. I look down at my shovel, back at her lady. This thing's quieter than a librarian's whisper, but nope, she's adamant. And just like that, my shiny new life gets its first dent. "I'll let it slide this time," she says, "but next time it's $50. And it goes up from there. She spins around and stalks off back to her house, which lucky me is directly across from mine. So there I am standing in the dark driveway, half done, not sure if I should laugh or move back to the city. I go inside, call my client to reschedule and stew over a breakfast that tastes suspiciously like defeat. Turns out Sharon runs this place like it's her personal fiefdom. Trash can out too long. Fine. Christmas lights up on December 27th. Fine. Lawn half an inch too tall. You guessed it. But the snow thing. That's what gets me. Milwaukee winters don't play around. I'm stuck staring at the clock, coffee going cold, snow piling up, while I wait for that blessed 9 a.m. Like some kind of white-collar Cinderella, except my carriage is a Subaru and my fairy godmother's apparently on vacation. One afternoon, I'm venting to my neighbor, Frank. Old guy lived here, forever knows where all the bodies are buried, metaphorically speaking. He just shrugs, tells me, "You get used to it." Sharon's been president for 7 years. Anyone tries to run against her, they get papered with so many violations they end up moving or giving up. The whole thing's a farce, but everyone plays along because, well, that's just how it's always been. But something in me snaps. I mean, what if someone actually had an emergency? Needed to leave before 9. Frank just says, take it up at the next HOA meeting, but warns me Sharon doesn't take kindly to being challenged. Guess what? I'm not wired for silence, so I decide I'm going to try. Meeting day rolls around January 15th. Community center, cold folding chairs, about 20 residents pretending not to be bored. Sharon's up front with her board running the agenda like she's presiding over the Senate. When it's finally time for open forum, I raise my hand, lay out my case. Can we maybe shovel snow at 7 a.m. like normal humans? Not everyone sleeps till noon. Sharon doesn't blink. The rule exists because of noise complaints. No exceptions. If you want to change it, submit a formal proposal. Next item. So I walk out of there half fuming, half determined. Frank claps me on the shoulder outside. "Good on you for trying," he says. But I know I've poked the hornet's nest. Now this is where things take a turn. The next snowstorm I do the only thing left, I follow the rules so literally I almost choke on them. I dig through the bylaws and realize nowhere does it say you have to remove the snow. You just can't let it be a hazard, whatever that means. My driveway, it's at a weird angle, sticks out wide at the end, kind of an eyesore in winter. But here's the kicker, the school bus comes down our street at 8:15 sharp. If my driveway's not clear, and I park just so that bus can barely squeeze by, so I do it. The next big snow, I don't touch the driveway. Park my car right at the edge, half on the street, just as the bylaws allow. The bus pulls up, can't pass. Honks. Parents are stuck, kids are late. Sharon comes tearing out of her house like she's about to reenact the Boston Tea Party on my Subaru. She demands I move the car. I shrug, point at the clock. Sorry, can't shovel till 9. Your rules. And right there in front of half the neighborhood, I watch the first crack appear in her perfect world. Next day, same thing. Bus-stuck parents fuming, Sharon getting redder by the minute. I'm polite, apologetic, even just following the rules. But it's not just me who's fed up. By week's end, I've got 7 signatures on my proposal, just too short. Then the blizzard of the decade hits 14 inches overnight. Plows create a wall of snow at the end of every driveway. I sit inside drinking coffee while the clock crawls toward 9. Out front, neighbors gather glaring at Sharon's house. Frank, bless him, starts shoveling early. Sharon's at her window taking notes, but no one cares anymore. There's this atmosphere, like the air's changed. And then comes the twist. Someone new enters the story. The school bus driver, a tough lady named Marlene, knocks on my door one morning. She's seen Sharon's act before. "Can you move your car?" she asks. I show her the bylaw, explain the mess, apologize. She just sighs, shakes her head, and says, "You're not the first to get on Sharon's bad side." She tells me about years of harassment, parents complaining, nobody able to change a thing. If you can get that rule changed, you'll be a hero. That sticks with me. I finally get my last 2 signatures after that, parents who are just done with being late for work because of a rule that helps nobody. I submit the proposal. Sharon predictably finds a way to reject it. Claims my car is creating a public nuisance, hits me with a $500 fine. That's the last straw. I lawyer up Patricia Mendy's best $2,000 I ever spent. She takes one look at my file and laughs. They're not going to win. And if they push, we push harder. I keep following the rules, parking my car, watching the bus pile up, documenting every interaction. The parents start to turn. A Facebook group pops up, Pine Ridge Residents for Reasonable Rules. Frank, of all people, starts a petition to recall Sharon. And then, after the 3rd bus standoff, local news shows up. Turns out HOA horror stories are ratings gold. One TV segment later and the whole thing blows up. The property management company announces a review. The district attorney starts sniffing around. And here's where karma comes in hot. The county investigator finds $160,000 missing from the HOA accounts. Embezzlement. Fraud. Turns out Sharon and Brenda, another board member, have been writing checks to fake companies, pocketing fine money and covering their tracks by hitting residents like me with as many bogus violations as possible. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in court box of evidence on my lap testifying about driveway ice and school buses while Sharon's lawyer tries to paint me as the villain, the prosecutor, though she gets it. "Why did you do it?" she asks. I look at the jury and say, honestly, I just wanted to shovel my driveway before work. But when the rules stop making sense, you've got to stand up or at least dig in your heels. The jury takes less than a day. Sharon gets 5 years, Brenda gets 3, full restitution, both banned from ever touching an HOA board again. Frank gets elected president, and in his first act cuts half the ridiculous rules, including the snow shoveling one. We go back to being a real neighborhood. People help each other again. I even become a minor local celebrity, did a podcast, a couple YouTube interviews. My inbox fills with folks from all over the country asking how to survive their own Sharon. I still live on Maple Drive. Every winter, 6:30 a.m., I'm out there, snowblower, roaring, coffee steaming, nobody telling me what I can or can't do. The school bus takes a new route. Frank comes over for poker night. The Facebook group turned into a community board, recipes, block parties, the works. Sometimes I wonder if Sharon ever thinks about it, about how none of this would have happened if she'd just listened, if she'd seen the rules as something meant to serve people, not control them. Instead, she doubled down, more fines, more power grabs until the whole thing collapsed. That's the lesson, I guess. Rules only work if the people enforcing them have their hearts in the right place. If not, well, sooner or later, someone stands up and the system eats itself. I didn't want to be a hero or a martyr or whatever. I just wanted a clear driveway and some peace. But sometimes the only way to fix a broken system is to follow its rules so exactly, so completely, that everyone can finally see how ridiculous they are. That's not revenge, it's just good old-fashioned American stubbornness. Funny thing is, after all that, the neighborhood got better. The house values actually went up. People started looking out for each other. Frank's still president, transparent about every dollar spent. Last winter, after a record storm, neighbors came together and cleared every elderly resident's driveway. No fines, no threats, just community. Sharon's house sold to a nice young family. I don't tell them the saga, no reason to scare them. They wave when they see me, and that's enough. So if you're sitting there listening, maybe you're in your own battle with a Sharon. Maybe you think the fight isn't worth it. I'm telling you it is. Stand up. Document everything. Know your rights. And if you have to follow the rules to the letter, because sometimes that's how you bring the whole rotten mess into the light. And hey, let's be real for a second. Was I a little petty? Absolutely. But when the system's broken, maybe a little petty is exactly what's needed. Now, here's my question for you. Where's the line between standing up for yourself and making things worse? Is it ever okay to fight fire with fire, or in my case, ice with ice? Have you ever had to deal with a Sharon in your life? Drop your story or your take below, because the only thing better than justice served cold is sharing it with someone who gets it.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.